We've tried to keep all of this discussion about style somewhat simple to get us started. We know that we can see some formatting applied to text by looking at the buttons on the ribbon to see if they're enabled, like bold or italics, whether those are provided manually or through use of a style. We also know that if we're following good document formatting practices, we'll be using those styles rather than hard coding, and the Styles Gallery or the Styles pane will show us what style is currently applied to the selected text. Sometimes, though, we want to know all the nitty-gritty details, but digging through all of these different places in order to see them is not the most time-effective thing we could do. Fortunately, Word provides us with two tools to help us dig deeper in one single place. They are the Style Inspector and the Reveal Formatting Task pane. We can get to both of them from the bottom of the Styles pane. So let's head on over to the very bottom, to that set of 3 buttons that we looked at before, and let's give the second one a click. This brings up the small Style Inspector. It's currently on the left side of our screen, and what it allows us to do is to see just that, to inspect the styles applied to the currently selected text. I'm just going to move it up to the middle of the screen so we can see a little bit easier. We currently have perpetual goals selected in the document. What we can see is that the paragraph formatting is the You Got It subheading. Now we also could have seen this from the Styles pane itself over here on the right, so that in itself is nothing new. What it tells us, though, is that in addition, nothing else has been added to that style. In other words, we haven't taken the subheading style and then applied some manual formatting on top of it. If we did, we would see that here. For example, if we moved up to the ribbon and clicked on the Italics button, you would expect that we would be able to see that here. But hang on, you got to pay close attention. This first section at the very top is about paragraph formatting. And remember, italics isn't a paragraph feature, it's a character or a font or a text level feature. If instead we continue downwards, that's when we get to this section called text level formatting. This tells us that it's currently using the default paragraph font. Again, if we go all the way back up to the ribbon, we can see that that is Calibri, and that's where that particular setting is coming from. But this is also where we can now see that we've added italics to that default paragraph font. So really it's an interesting way to see not only what specific things have been applied, but which have been applied through styles and which have been applied through hard coding. In addition to just being able to see this, on the right-hand side for each of these areas, we also have the ability to reset or to clear. So we can reset the You Got It subheading style to the normal paragraph style. We can also clear any paragraph formatting that we have. We can clear the character style, or we can clear the character formatting that was applied using direct formatting or hard coding. If you wanted to clear it all out with one click, we do have a Clear All button at the very bottom, and the button in the middle actually tells us that we can create a brand new style based off of this selection as it currently is. So again, lots of different ways to get into things that we've already seen from a variety of other places. This is just one more avenue that lists things a little bit differently than the other methods that we've seen. Okay, I know there are some of you out there, kind of like me, who love details and you want to dig even deeper still. So we have one more level we can go to. It's called the Reveal Formatting pane. To get to it, we can click the Reveal Formatting button at the bottom of the Style Inspector. That's this first one right here. I want to show you a little bit different way though, because I know that we've clicked a lot of times to get here. So I'm going to go ahead and close the Style Inspector, and I'm actually going to close the Styles pane as well. Now, with this text selected, I'm going to press a key combination that maybe you haven't thought about as it relates to styles. Most of us are used to being able to press F1 to bring up the help system in almost any application we use. Well, here we're going to do just a little bit of a variation on that. We're going to press Shift F1. Shift F1 brings up contextual help. In this case, it's going to help us with what we have selected, which is our text. By pressing Shift F1, we get to see the Reveal Formatting pane. It goes right over on the right-hand side where our Styles pane used to be. Here again we can see all kinds of details. In this pane it tells us that our selected text, currently perpetual goals, looks like this, and we get some drop-downs. We can again do lots of things like we did from the Styles pane itself. But more importantly, we have the formatting of all of the text, and this can be very in-depth. For example, it gives us sections for the font, the paragraph, and if we continue to scroll down, we can even see options for things as far down as sections, which we haven't talked about yet, but they're here. So let's scroll back up to the top and see what this actually tells us. This gives us, line by line, really every detail of the selected text. For example, it tells us what the font is. Not only that it's the default, but it's the default for headings, and that currently is Calibri. It's 14 point, it's bold, it's italic, it has a font color, it's in English US, and so on and so forth for paragraphs and the other sections as well. We'll always see sections for font, paragraph, and sections because those are always part of every piece of text that we have in a Word document. Depending on how things are formatted, we may also see sections for bullets and numbering. What I like about this is it not only gives us this information, but it gives us ways to change it. For example, if I didn't like something about the font, notice that the font heading is actually a hyperlink. And by clicking it, it's the same as bringing up the dialog box launcher. It takes me right into the place where all of these settings are designated, so if I don't like them, I can change them. As we've been talking about throughout this entire chapter, fast, easy, and efficient is what this is all about. I also have good news for those of you who may be former WordPerfect users. This is as close to reveal codes as you're going to get. And I know you're probably going to say it's not exactly the same, and you're right, it's not, but this is the Word version. And as I said, if that's what you're looking for, still trying to get from the old WordPerfect days, this is as close as you're going to get, the Reveal Formatting Task Pane. Another reason that I like this task pane is that sometimes things look very similar. For example, let's kind of play with this a little bit, and let's go ahead and select Business Goals and Objectives, and we're simply going to turn off the bottom border. We'll go ahead and click that drop down and choose No Border. Now these two look very similar, but maybe we're saying, I don't know exactly what's different, and I certainly don't want to dig through all of the options to see. Well, guess what? Using the Reveal Formatting Task Pane, we can check this box that says Compare to another selection. Once that's done, we'll go ahead and make the other selection. In this case, we'll go back to Perpetual Goals. Now check out what we have here. It's actually giving us a blow-by-blow, line-by-line comparison of these two. For example, we can see that the font is from not italic to italic, that we have small caps in the first selection to not small caps in the second selection. I know this may seem like just a trendy little thing, but trust me, if you're ever looking at text and you're trying to figure out how things are different and you just can't figure it out, this is a wonderful tool that will narrow it down very quickly and very efficiently for you, so you then can either understand the differences or you can do whatever it takes to make them consistent. Once you're finished with the comparison, you can simply remove the check mark, and that brings us back to just looking at the formatting for one particular selection. Last thing I wanted to show you is at the very bottom of the pane, there is a check mark that says Distinguish the Style Source, and this again can either be turned on or off. What you'll notice when it's turned on is, for example, under our font category, it says that the font is coming from the paragraph style you got at subheading. So it wasn't applied manually, it's actually coming from a style, and this helps us distinguish where those are coming from. You also can choose to turn on your formatting marks, the little paragraph symbol that's normally on your ribbon, and that's just a matter of choice whether you want to see those or not. All in all, I think the Reveal Formatting Pane and the Style Inspector are just a terrific set of easy to understand and easy to use tools that help us delve into the deepest depths of our text formatting, if we desire to do so, without taking a lot of time or extra effort. And really, especially with complex documents,